Okay, how's that? Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Danielle, if you can hear me, let me know. Can you guys hear me? Hi, Dan. Can you guys hear me? I'm hoping you can hear me. Faith says we can't hear you. Can you hear me now? I just changed the mic. Yes. No sound. Yes, I can. Yes. Can't hear. Yes. Okay, it looks like some of you can hear me or some can't. Okay, I'm getting more yeses. So those of you who can't hear me, it should show up here soon because I just activated my mic. So, yeah, guys, remember I'm tech challenged. All this tech. If you could see all this stuff I've got going on my desk just to try to get all of these live feeds to you with the screen overlays and all that. I mean, I've just got this like huge mess on my desk. All right. So I'm going to move my camera just a little bit. There, you should be able to see me a little better now. All right, so it looks like most of you can hear me. So hi, Den. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Faith. Hi, JoJo. Hi, Rose. Hi, Hina. Okay, so most of you guys can hear me. So we're going to jump into today's lesson. So for those of you who don't know, I know I have technical difficulties once in a while, guys. For those of you who don't know how this works, we go live every Thursday at 3 p.m. And you guys get to drop all of your questions in the chat, and I'll come back to them very shortly and answer all the questions that you have about CNA training and testing and workplace. But while we're waiting for your questions, I usually give a little lesson. Now, I'm trying something new here. So my weekly lessons, I'm actually creating like little mini Instagram reels and Facebook reels and YouTube shorts and all kinds of stuff for these lessons. So the slides that you're going to see today will actually be in a short on Facebook and Instagram and all of our social media channels. So if you can, because we're just starting this new process. So if you happen to see one of our reels, if you can give it a thumbs up, or like it, or whatever you do with those things. I'm so new to all this. It would really help us out and let us know that we're on the right track. So the slides that you see today will be in movie format in a short, reel or story or whatever. And if you like us doing that, if it kind of helps you, let us know. But we're trying to help others find our content as well. So it's a brave new world out there. I need help in social media, guys. I am not very good at that. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about some interview tips. Now, this came up because I just graduated a class out last Wednesday and a week ago yesterday. And at the end of every class, I always go over some interview tips and some things to expect and all of that. And it's just kind of routine for me to go over that. But it really amazes me when I step back and really think about it. It amazes me how many people really aren't comfortable with interviews, and they tend to dread them, and they don't really know how to answer questions or how to ask questions during an interview. So I want to go over a couple of interview tips. Now what I'm going to tell you is in my skills book. So those of you who have my skills book, this book, the CNA Skills Study Guide, this book. If you have this book, this is on page 126 and 127, interview tips and interview questions, so you can kind of follow along there as well. I'm going to go into a few things that aren't in the book, and just so that you guys know, I'm actually rewriting this book, and the new edition will be out this fall. So that's something really exciting to kind of look forward to as well. So I'm in my writing studio doing a lot of writing to try to finish that up. So what I'm going to tell you is actually going to be in the new edition. So I'm going to tell you some things today that aren't in the book that will be in the new one coming up. So let's jump right in, okay? So we all know that at the end of CNA training, right, your whole goal is to get employed. That's the whole reason you're doing this. You want to work as a CNA. you're not taking an art class or a sculpting class or a ceramics class or a martial arts class, things that, you're not going to do as a vocation, as a job. But CNA, that's the whole reason to take the class. Very few people sit in on CNA classes just for their own knowledge. The whole goal is to get a job at the end of this. And yeah, all the textbooks have information on interviews. My book has information on interviews. But at the end of the day, most people just really aren't very comfortable with interviews. So my goal today is to kind of help you beyond the classroom and when it comes time to actually get the job. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Hey, lovely long legs, Patricia J. Oh, hey, Patricia, I like that. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, Emouse. Okay, yes, Jennifer, we're going to kind of talk about that. A little different take on that, but yes, that's where we're going with this. And we all know that in order to get hired, you have to ace the interview, right? You got to make a good impression. Now, everybody is nervous when it comes to interviews. I get it. I understand, right? You're being judged, and you're being judged on a very short interaction, and that makes people really, really nervous, especially when a job is on the line. So my goal here is to help you with your confidence and to give you actual concrete answers to the questions they're going to ask you, so that when you go into an interview, you know what's coming, you know what they're going to ask, and you know how to answer it, and that allows you to kind of relax and let you show through the interview, not your nerves, right? So we all know this, right? We answer questions completely. We're going to be brief and we're going to be on point, right? Sorry, my throat is super dry. A lot of allergies in Florida today. We've had a lot of rain. So I want to kind of break this down a little bit though. Answer questions completely. So when they ask you a question, you actually need to kind of pay attention to what they're actually asking you. And then you've got to formulate an answer that's brief, but complete. So they may ask you things like, how would you handle this situation? Or what do you think your strengths and weaknesses are, right? Those are all questions that we all hate. Right? Those are interview questions that just keep you up at night. But the whole point here is so that they can judge whether you're the best applicant for that position. So you want to make sure that what makes you unique shows through while still complying with their facility policies. So we want to be complete, brief, accurate, but most importantly, we want to be to the point, right? We don't want to veer off into no man's land. We don't want to go into, well, at my last position, I did this and I didn't agree with it, and that's why you don't want to do all that. We never want to bring anything negative into an interview. Now, that's difficult when they ask you questions like, what are your strengths and weaknesses, right? I just told you not to bring anything negative in, and yet you've got to come up with a weakness. So that can be very challenging. So when they ask you things like, what are your strengths and what do you think your biggest weakness is, you really kind of have to self-evaluate and always end on a positive. So for me, my biggest weakness is time management, right? I know that I suffer in time management. Guys, and if you don't know that already about me, we go live at 3 o'clock. At 2:59, I was still finishing up my slides and posting them up here so I could use them. I am horrible at time management. So that is a weakness of mine. And that's one that I readily admit to. So my strengths are that I have a strong attention to detail. I'm able to break down complex topics into easily understandable principles. I'm very flexible and adaptable. My main weakness is time management, and I am working on strategies to help me organize and prioritize my tasks more effectively. And I'm always looking for good tips and mentors in this area. So I listed a weakness, but I kind of turned it into a positive as well, that I am working on that, and I'm looking outside of myself to work on that as well. I'm open for tips and mentors in this area. So even though it's a negative, it can still be shown as a positive because I understand myself and I'm looking to work on those traits. So anytime you're asked that question, what is your biggest weakness? Be honest, let them know what a weakness is, but always turn it into a positive at the end, and that will help you on your interview. So here's the one question though that everybody hates, and it's the one is coming, right? So you got to make sure you can answer this question. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Now, every time I ask this question, I get a deer in the headlight look. I don't know. What am I supposed to say here? And people will, they're going to stammer all over themselves and probably talk about personal things, which has no bearing in this at all. They don't want this answer. This is the wrong answer. Well, I was born in Virginia, and then mommy and daddy got divorced, and I moved in with grandma in Alabama, and then when I went to high school, I moved back in with my mom, and now I'm in Florida, and I'm looking for a CNA job. That is not what they want to know. That is not the right answer for that question. And that's generally what people default to, is their own personal story. They don't want your personal story. What they want to know by asking this question, tell me a little bit about yourself, is why are you right for this position? Why should I hire you over all the other people that I'm interviewing, right? And this is what Jennifer had asked too, right? Why should we hire you over anybody else? So I'm actually going to give you the answer to this question for you. I'm going to do this for absolutely everybody, right? There's a formula that you can follow. Now, this formula is very specific. So get a piece of paper and a pen, or watch the replay of this, or you can get the shorts, right? Because I'm gonna release these later today in the YouTube shorts and Instagram reels, and I don't, whatever I'm doing, right? So I'm gonna post this today, but there's a formula. So you guys ready for the formula? It works for everybody. Ready? Here we go. To answer this question, we're going to use the following formula. I was recently a whatever. So were you a server? Were you a housekeeper? Were you a customer service representative? Were you a paralegal? Were you a realtor? Were you what did you do? What is your previous life work experience, right? Insert that here. And then you can actually say the employer if you want to. I was a child care specialist at a local daycare. I was a server at a chain restaurant. I was a hostess at a independent restaurant. I was a cook at Denny's, right? You're going to tell them the position that you've had and the employer. Now, I know a lot of you have had multiple positions and multiple employers. Pick the most recent one, or pick the one that has the most relevant experience. And I'll explain that in a minute, okay? But you want to just list one here. You don't want to go through your entire resume. One, this is what we're looking for. And then you're going to go on to say where I excelled at. And we're going to list 3 soft skills here. Now, 3 is the magic number. 2 sounds a little cheap. 4 or more is too long-winded. 3 is your magic number. Now, I'm going to give you the soft skills, so hold up a minute, okay? I'm going to teach you how to do this completely every step of the way. But I really wanted a more rewarding career with, why are you doing that? Why did you become a CNA, right? It wasn't for fame or fortune. I can guarantee that. So what brought you into healthcare? We're going to get into these answers in a minute too. So I completed a CNA program and became certified. I believe I would be an asset to your company because I am 3 positive traits. Okay, so dependable, flexible, adaptable, excited. What are your personality traits that they would find impressive or attractive, right? Remember, you always end on a positive, Always end on a positive. So let's go through this, and I'm going to show you how to use this formula to help you. Okay, so here we go. Let's say that I am a server at a chain restaurant, right? So I would say I was recently a server at a chain restaurant where I excelled in, let's go to our soft skills. So what are soft skills? Here are a few soft skills. There's a whole lot more, and you can actually go onto any search engine, type in employability soft skills, and a whole bunch of them will come up. And there's literally hundreds. I just picked out a few to show you, right? So if I'm a server at a chain restaurant, well, I certainly am good at anticipating needs because I'm watching to see when your cup is running a little bit low so I can refill it. Or I'm paying attention to detail, like you're not done with your appetizer yet, it's not time to bring out the main course. So attention to detail and anticipating needs are two skills I definitely have as a server. I probably have a good organization or prioritization skills. I probably have good teamwork skills. I probably have good time management. I may be very punctual. That's not me, but I might, you might be. So you've got to look through these soft skills and pick out just 3. Now, some of you are going to go, oh, but I've got that one and that one and that one and that one and that one, and I want them to know all of them. Don't overwhelm them. They're going to shut you down. That's not what we want to do here. We want to pick out 3, just 3. The 3 that most deeply resonate with you, okay? The 3 that you can stand up and say, these 3 words explain me, who I am, what I do, what I'm all about. Pick the top 3. Okay, are you good? Are you good? All right, so let's plug that in. Let's go back to our formula and plug that in. I was recently a server at a local chain restaurant where I excelled in anticipating needs, time management, and organization skills. But I really wanted a more rewarding career. Now we got to figure out why. Why are you a CNA? So let's take a look at some answers to that. Okay? So here's some reasons that you might have found yourself in a CNA class. Maybe you're looking for a career with advancement opportunities. You have your sights set on becoming a nurse or a ultrasound tech or a radiology tech, or you want to work in healthcare, but you don't really know where. You're kind of undecided, but I want to be in a clinical setting to evaluate all the opportunities. So you may be in healthcare because you're looking for a way to advance your career. You might also be in healthcare because you're looking for more flexibility in scheduling, right? Certain shifts just don't work for you. You need something more flexible. Maybe you have children at home. Maybe you have a daycare schedule that you have to adhere to. Maybe you're in school currently and you need something that'll work around the school hours. You may need more flexibility in scheduling. You might also be a CNA because you're looking for opportunities to care for others. You have that caring spirit. You're called to care. And now caring can be in a lot of different capacities, right? Daycare workers care for others. Healthcare workers care for others. But so do many other industries. So that's a little bit non-specific. And if you're really kind of on the fence, I'm not really sure why I'm here, that's a really good kind of non-committal answer. I'm looking for an opportunity to care for others, or opportunities that give me more ability to care for others. Now, some of you are in healthcare because you came out of maybe assisted living facility or caregiver positions or activities director positions or something like that, and you're looking for more clinical hands-on care. So you would want to highlight that you're looking for that clinical aspect of the care, things that are more hands-on. Maybe you're looking for options in patient care that best fit your talents. All of these are really good reasons to enter healthcare. So let's go back to our scenario and plug that in. So I was recently a server at a chain restaurant where I excelled in time management, attention to detail, and organization. But I really wanted a more rewarding career with clinical hands-on care of patients. So I completed a CNA program and became certified. I believe I would be an asset to your company because I am, how do we fill this in now? So let's look at some opportunities for this. So here are some positive traits. And again, if you go into any search engine, you're going to find a ton more. So do some research here. Don't just go by these slides and say, this is all that there is. There's lots and lots more. This is just a good starting point for you. But maybe you're flexible, dedicated, energetic. That's a good one. Positive. We do not want people that are dragging their feet in the door and are grumpy Gusses all shift long, because here's the thing, healthcare workers are mainly empathetic creatures. That's just the way we're built, right? If you're called into healthcare, you're probably a very empathetic individual, which means you match energy. That's what empathy is all about. If you are upbeat and positive around me, you know what I'm going to be? Upbeat and positive. But if you're just a ball of nerves all over the place and you're just very negative and draining, and every time I'm around you, I feel like I'm in an avalanche of emotions, well, that's going to affect me because I'm an empathetic individual. So what we're looking for in healthcare, now as managers, we know that healthcare is made up predominantly of empathetic individuals. So we don't want a lot of people in there in the workforce that are going to bring our empathetic workforce down. So we're looking for people that are well-centered, calm, positive, energetic, excited to be providing care, right? We want those positive traits. So if you have those positive traits, you need to pull them out, dust them off, and show them off a little bit. I'm positive, I'm responsible, I'm honest, I'm dedicated to teamwork. Whatever describes you the most. Again, we want to stick to 3. And some of you are going to go, well, I am all of those things. And I want to tell them I'm all those things so that they'll hire me because I'm all of those things and I'm proud of it. Nah, don't do that. Remember, 3 is our magic number here. Don't go over 3. Okay, so be very careful here, because if this goes really long, if you're telling them, how great you are with all of these different adjectives, that they're actually going to kind of come away with, she's trying to oversell this a little bit. So be careful here. 3 is our magic number. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so let's go back here. So I was recently a server at a chain restaurant where I excelled in adaptability, time management, attention to detail, but I really wanted a more rewarding career because I'm interested in an opportunity for advancement. So I completed a CNA program and became certified. I believe I would be an asset to your company because I am dependable, flexible, and honest. That's a great answer to that question. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And you all have the ability to do this now with this formula. So if you haven't written this formula down yet, you probably want to, or go back and watch the replay. But now you don't have to stress that question anymore, do you? Right? You know it's coming. Every interview is going to ask you this question, every single one. You know it's coming. But if you have a concrete answer to it, you don't have to stress it anymore. Doesn't that help? Does that help you guys? I think it would help you guys. All right, so once you get into the interview, toward the end of the interview, they're going to ask you a question. They're going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? Now, the very worst thing you can say here is, no, I'm good. Everything's fine. No, we're good. Because that makes you look uninterested in the position, or worse, uninformed about your industry. You should always have a question, because not everything is going to be covered in the interview. There will always be a question to ask. Now, if you don't know what questions need to be asked, you won't know what questions weren't asked or answered. So I'm just going to go over a few with you, but remember that I have a whole page of this in the skills book. So there's more in here than what we're going to go over in this lesson. So one of the questions that you definitely want to ask here is, or know before you leave the interview, is there a set schedule? If there's no set schedule, you need to kind of know, well, how do I know when I'm going to be working? So you may have a set schedule Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, you can count on that. It's a set schedule. But a lot of places in healthcare don't have set schedules where you're going to be working the same shift every day. So then you've got to know, well, how do I know when I'm going to be working? Like, when is the schedule published? And if there's days you can't work, are they going to accommodate that? Like, if I can't work every Thursday because I'm here with you guys, I would need them to know I cannot work on Thursdays. How would I make sure that I am never put on the schedule on Thursdays? You also need to know what shift is a position for. Is it a set shift? Am I always working 7A to 7P? Is that my only shift? Or am I going to have to sometimes come in 3 to 11? Or am I going to have to sometimes work overnights? You need to know this for your own circadian rhythm. Some of us don't operate well early morning. Like, if I have to be somewhere at 7 a.m., man, that is really hard on me. I am not a morning person. It's just not in my nature to be a morning person. So if I'm hired for the 3 to 11 shift, which is ideal for me, that's when I am most active, aware, alert. So if I'm being hired on for the 3 to 11 shift, but I know during the interview that there are some days I'm going to have to do doubles. I'll have to come in at 7 a.m. and work all the way to 11 p.m. That may not work for me. I would want to know that during the interview. I also want to know what the orientation period is. Now, this is going to be important for those of you who are new. You are brand new CNAs. You're going to need more orientation time, right? You learned a lot in school, and that's great, but you're still slow because you're supposed to be slow. You're brand new. This is the one time in your life it's okay to be slow, but you're going to need a little bit more orientation time than somebody that's been doing this for 20 years and just needs to know who the patients are, where the supplies are, and where do I clock in and out, right? They're not going to need as much orientation as our new people. So you've got to find out what is the orientation period, and what do I do if I don't feel comfortable once orientation is supposed to be over? Is there something there to help me transition into this position adequately? You also need to know what the uniform requirements are. Most places are now in color-coded scrubs. So all nurses wear this color, all CNAs wear this color, all housekeeping wears this color. So a lot of places have moved to color-designated scrubs by industry. So you need to kind of know that. There are some places out there that'll let you wear anything you want, but they are few and far between anymore. So what are the uniform requirements? You also probably want to know about benefits. If it's a full-time position, are there benefits? Because if you want to go back to school and you want some sort of tuition reimbursement, that may play into whether this position is right for you. What's the pay frequency? Is it weekly, every 2 weeks, once a month? What is the pay frequency? Are there any opportunities to further my education? So do you offer tuition reimbursement? Do you have a program on site that will allow me to learn new skills? Do you offer in-services, which is continuing education for CNAs? So these are all really good interview questions. Remember, we've got some other ones in the book as well. But there's also some other things. Those are really general questions, but these are ones that are more specific to your decision-making process, okay? When you go interview, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 different opportunities. Right? If you go interview at 5 places, you'll probably get at least 2 job offers. And that means that you've got to be able to evaluate which one is going to be right for you. Now, not all positions are right for all people. Remember, those questions that we just looked at are going to help you identify, in a general sense, how they operate. Now, these questions are more specific to you personally. So you want to find out, what is the average staff ratio? So this is a staff to patient ratio. So every CNA, generally speaking, when we're fully staffed, is responsible for 16 patients or 8 patients or 22 patients on a night shift, or whatever the staff ratio is. You also want to find out about mandated coverage. Now, this is a question that is not asked enough in interviews. And if they haven't covered it, you have to have the answer to this question if you have small children at home. What this means, mandated coverage, is in a facility, they have to maintain certain staffing ratios, right? That this is coming from the government, says that you have to have, if you've got 120 patients, you have to have 1 RN, 1 LPN, and 4 CNAs to cover that building, right? Now, it's the end of shift. You're supposed to be going home, but nobody comes in to relieve you. The CNA that was supposed to relieve you calls off as a no-show, whatever. There are some places that do mandated coverage. It's called mandate, which means you cannot go home until they find coverage. If you've got daycare that closes at 5 p.m. and you're working 7 to 3, you can stay over a little bit, but you got to be there at 5 to pick up your kids if you don't have anybody else to do it. So if you're stuck at the facility, now you're making a decision. Do I leave the facility and leave my patients uncared for to go pick up my kids? Or do I don't know, forget my kids? I mean, these are real world situations, and you need to know the answer to this question before you ever start work at that facility. Now, there's some facilities that are fantastic about this. They will say, nope, at the end of your shift, you get to go home, regardless of whether your relief shows up. You get to go home. We have a dedicated cover person until we can get somebody else in. That would be ideal, right? That would be ideal. But you need to know that before you accept a position. You also need to know what your required weekends and holidays are. And this one thing right here causes way more stress in a workplace than anything else. If you know that you have to work every other holiday and you didn't work on Thanksgiving, so you're going to work on Christmas, then now you know you can't ask for Christmas off because that's your mandated holiday. When facilities don't have a consistent holiday schedule procedure, it causes all kinds of stress in the staff, because people will say, well, I've worked every holiday this year. How come I don't get to have it off? Or, Sally just got hired on 2 months ago and she already has Thanksgiving off. I've been here 3 years. I've never had Thanksgiving off. Causes a lot of stress in the staff, a lot of conflict, a lot of resentment. So you want to find out what are their requirements for holidays and weekends, and find out if they have a set policy on it. Because if they don't, you probably are going to be fighting with your scheduler about getting time off. You also want to know, when do they anticipate making a decision, right? You don't want to be sitting by the phone for 3 months waiting. Are they ever going to call? So kind of try to pin them down a little bit here. When do you anticipate making a decision for this position? And will you notify me either way? That way you're not just out there in limbo land. If you don't ask this question, a lot of facilities just won't call you. And that's kind of crappy, personally. I think you should be called whether they want you or not. But if you kind of force this issue, if you pin them down, you're more likely to get a response. And then, of course, pay. Because if you're evaluating 2 different opportunities, then you need to evaluate pay in there too. But you're not going to say, so what are you going to pay me to be here? What are you going to pay me for this position? That's not how we want to address this. We don't have the position yet. They're not going to pay you anything. What you want to ask is, what is the starting wage for someone with my level of experience for this position? So that shows you where you can start your negotiations. Now, if you're brand new, and you have no experience behind you, you probably don't have any bargaining power over that hourly rate. But if you've got a couple of years experience behind you, now you know where they're starting and you can give a counter offer. Remember, brand new, you have no bargaining power. Okay. All right. So when you're going to an interview, make sure you're prepared. Be confident. Be on time, or early is better. Be interested and be happy to be there. You want to project the most positive you that you can project. But it's worth saying, again, be prepared. If you're not prepared for that interview, it's not going to go well at all. And that's what today was all about, is helping you get prepared for your next interview. Now, I do recommend that you take a small notebook in with you and a pen, because if they give you information like the hourly rate, or where to go for orientation, or where to go for an employee physical, or what unit you're going to be working on, or what shift you're going to be working on, all of those things, once you get out to your car after the interview, can get all jumbled up in your head. So it's always best to take a small notebook and a pen in with you and jot down all the details that they're telling you so that you don't miss anything moving forward. But if you're prepared, you will absolutely get employed. And that's what we're here to help you with today. So let's get to your questions. Okay. Remember, you can follow this this presentation on our social media questions. So let's see here. Let's see. Rose, this is good. I just passed my CNA exams. Oh, congratulations, Rose. Great job. I'm so proud of you. Faith says, as a new CNA, I'm still struggling to get a job, as all job openings require a minimum of 1 year experience. Faith, 2 places that you can look, that you probably will find openings in that are willing to take you on, are assisted living facilities, because you do not need to be certified to work in those settings, but it is still patient care, so it'll give you that experience that you need. And home care often is willing to take on new CNAs as well. Nursing homes sometimes, because they're usually short-staffed, but I would not start out at the hospital. But assisted living is probably your best bet, followed by home care and then nursing homes. Hi, Blue. Let's see here. Wow, I'm stealing that answer. Time management is a biggie for me as well. Yeah, absolutely. I have a horrible, horrible time with time management. Let's see here. That and always why we should hire you. Yeah. Sarah says, I came for the fame. I like that. I was considering using my CNA in the entertainment industry. That's funny. That's good. Optimism, professionalism, communication, time management. Good. Very good. Hands-on care, that's me. I like the idea of hands-on care. And be honest about that. That's awesome. Sarah says, I am resilient. Den says, that's me. Sarah says, I have a question. Is 2 days out of the week an okay schedule to be a CNA? 4 hours each day. So basically 8 hours a week. Well, Sarah, it really depends on you, right? So that's perfectly, a perfectly acceptable schedule if that works into your lifestyle, right? So if you need 40 hours a week to pay your bills, then that's probably not going to work for you. But if you're just doing this to get a little experience, or as additional revenue stream, or to get out of the house, then if that schedule suits you, then that might be a perfectly wonderful collaboration, right? It meets the employer's needs and it meets your needs. And of course, there's always an opportunity to gain more as they get to see who you are, what your work ethic is about, and how well you integrate with the team. So sometimes those small assignments are really a paid interview. They're an ability for the employer to kind of try you out to see how you fit before they give you more hours. So don't shy away from those as long as it works into your schedule and your budget as well. So take a look at that. Kathy gives me a smiley face. And wow, mandate coverage. That's a good question to know. Super important. Yeah, absolutely, lovely. Absolutely. What is the starting wage for the starting level of this position? Yeah. So, Sarah, the way that I would say that is, what is the starting wage for someone with my level of experience for this position? Because a lot of places pay based on experience, and they may give you an extra $1 an hour if you have 3 years experience, or an extra $2 an hour if you have 5 years experience, or whatever. So you want to make sure you work in with my level of experience there. Sarah says, I passed my CNA exams too, but all over Texas SMT site is down, waiting for correspondence email. Oh, Sarah, that's so frustrating. I can feel your frustration here. But congratulations on testing and passing the exams. And hopefully you'll get your certification soon. But congratulations. We're going to send out great vibes to you. I'm super proud. Hi, Dominique. What's good advice you can give me when it comes to the skills? Follow the care plan. Follow the care plan. Follow the care plan. I can't say it enough. If the care plan tells you to do hand and nail care on one hand, you're only going to do hand and nail care on one hand. If the care plan tells you to do range of motion, abduction, adduction on the wrist, you're going to do range of motion, abduction, adduction on the wrist. Nothing more, nothing less. Follow the care plan. That's the biggest key to passing the skills exam. And of course, if you know all of our principles, the principles that we go over teach you how to do the skills. Washing rules, barrier rules, privacy blanket. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to go watch those animated lessons on my website, foryourcna.com. So let me go get my ebook. This is on the same website, foryourcna.com. That ebook will help you on the written test, and it kind of goes over information you need for the skills. But go watch the animated lessons on that website, and that will help you learn how to do all of the skills and what steps are important. But the single most important piece of information I can give you is make sure you're following that care plan. Okay? What's good advice you can give me on better time management? I hate being late for work. You have come to the wrong person for time management. Wrong. I'll be very honest with you. I am the wrong person to ask about time management. The answer I'm always going to give is start earlier. But that doesn't help me, and it's probably not going to help you. So you just have to learn how to prioritize your tasks and get organized so that you can get to places on time. But yeah, I struggle with this horribly. And, you know, in all fairness, it's because I'm juggling so many things at one time that it's really hard for me to kind of get on top of the deadlines that I have to meet. You know, I do ultimately meet the deadlines, but man, it's a mad rush to get there. And it's because I've got so many other projects that are taking up my time and attention because I'm just putting out fires as I go. So the biggest advice I could give people for time management is make sure that you're setting realistic project goals for yourself. If they're not realistic, no amount of time management in the world is going to help you meet them. So you kind of have to be a little bit introspective there and make sure that you understand your limitations as well. Sarah says, it's cool. I wasn't actually frustrated because it gives me time to review things before I get my certificate. The only frustrating thing is getting spam mail while waiting. Yeah. Oh man, you should see my email. I have got spam mail right, left, and center. Spam everywhere. All right. Any other questions for today? Because we're getting close to the end of our time together. Any other questions? If you have them, drop them in the chat. A couple things coming up that you probably want to know about. On Tuesday, we're doing our live game show, and I now am giving prizes for the top 3 scorers on the game show. So first prize gets the card game and a badge holder. Second prize gets a badge holder. Third prize gets a CNA keychain and a really nice bracelet that has an inspirational saying for CNAs. so that way you can remember just how valuable you are while you're at work. So first, second, and third place will get prizes in the game show. That will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So let's get into our congratulations. So we have lots of people to congratulate. And if you are taking your CNA exam soon, make sure you drop by our channel, leave us a comment on any one of our videos, a fresh comment, not a reply. I don't always see those, but a fresh comment letting us know that you passed the CNA state exam, and we'll be happy to congratulate you on an upcoming episode. So we're going to congratulate Rose for passing as well as Sarah. So great job to you guys. And we're going to go through this whole list as well. If you're testing soon, let us know so we can send some good vibes out your way. So here we go. This week we are going to congratulate Rose Morgan 9148. Congratulations. We're super proud of you. Beautiful B 9810. Shay 0323. User QZ. Anointed to be natural. Congratulations. Christy Ninal. Congratulations to you. Michaela Barbara 01. Life as, congratulations to you. I can't put all those letters together right now. And then testing soon. We have Jenny, Ava Sarah, Mela Lachey, and COL3113. So good vibes out to you guys that are getting ready to test. Please remember, follow the care plan. Make sure you're reading it. If you have not watched the animated videos on the principles, go do that, because that will help you tremendously on understanding what they're grading you on the skills exam. And then Hattie is awaiting results. So we're waiting to hear how Hattie did on the state exam. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope for a good report there. So to everybody that passed, congratulations. Welcome to the wonderful world of healthcare. We're so happy to have you. Those of you getting ready to test, good luck to all of you. Good vibes out your way. And Hattie, we're hoping for the best for you. So I hope to see you guys on Tuesday for our live game show. That will help you with practice questions and give you a chance to win free prizes. And of course, next Thursday, I'll be here for our live question and answer session with another topic for you to discuss. And if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know. So start putting your thinking caps on and brainstorming and come up with some things that you would like to hear me talk about. And I'd be happy to feature one of your suggestions on an upcoming episode. So let me know. So let's see here. Hey, Helen. Sarah says, to be honest, I'm doing CNA just to get out of the house and to associate with the community. Then yes, Sarah, this would be a great opportunity for you. Woohoo. Thank you. Always enjoy your content. Thank you, lovely. I appreciate it. Or Patricia. Miss Patty, what's the definition of catheter? Oh, Helen, that's a very good question. And if you go back and watch class 7 of my last class session, you know how I do the classroom live streams, right? Catheter care is on class 7, and I've got a whole presentation on what a catheter is. I actually show you catheters, explain how they're used. It's probably about an hour-long lecture, so go take a look at that, and it will help you for sure. Oh, Sarah, you're Ava. Already passed. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. And Helen says, what's the purpose and when can it be used? Yeah, Helen, class 7 will go over all of that with you. Sarah says, I do need some prayer because sometimes the idea of CNA is stressful and I don't want to mess up with my job. I just want to make sure I do my best, even if I force myself to do the job. Sarah, yeah, you're going to do fantastic. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Remember, CNAs is all heart and hands. We aren't thinking. So anything that you observe, just report it to the nurse and let them figure out what to do with it. So all heart and hands. So as long as you've practiced your skills and you know how to do them and you bring the heart on the job, we'll let the nurses do the thinking. So we're not going to make any decisions. And you absolutely are all heart and you've got great hands. So I have absolute faith that you will be a fantastic CNA. Little confidence, I'm behind you. All right, guys. So congratulations to all of you. If you like today, give me a thumbs up if you would on Facebook or on YouTube, because YouTube grades me based on your thumbs ups. So give me a thumb up if you like this. And yes, lovely. Just care for them like you would your family. You got this. Absolutely. And I love all of my tribe supporting each other. You guys keep that up because you make me proud. All right, guys, I will see you next week, Tuesday and Thursday. Until next time, guys, happy caregiving. Bye.